Sneakers and Cleats, the podcast.
Welcome back to the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. This is Monday, August 25th, episode 220. Chuck Miketinac, Don Harris, back off vacation. Don, what's going on?
220, you say, huh?
220.
It's impressive. Seems like yesterday.
It's a lot.
I'll tell you what's going on. Football season's what's going on.
Yeah, we got
Coming
a lot of
back to work the week of, week 0, week 1, whatever you want to call it. Exciting times, high school, college.
You do anything fun on your vacation or not?
You know, I did a lot of fun things, but I didn't leave town. And seems like I worked most of it somehow, some way.
I heard from you more on Monday.
The
last
UTSA
week.
luncheon was nice with Jerry Rice.
Yeah, good job at that, too, by the way.
It was a lot of fun.
Very entertaining.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry carried the show.
Nice guy.
You were just kind of there.
That's right. My job was just lob him softballs and let him rip the Cowboys. I got a couple shots in on him, though.
Have you guys watched the Gambler and his Cowboys yet? Did you finish all of it, Chuck?
I did.
What did you guys think of it before we get into the rest of the conversation?
Overall, great, but I have some concerns. The Jimmy Hoffa thing I can't get out of my head.
It's fair enough.
I cannot get that out of my head. Do you realize what that means if he makes that deal with Jimmy Hoffa and who that ties him into
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And
luckily, his dad was smart enough to talk him out of it.
Yes.
Well, yes, but he did and was financed by Jimmy Hoffa for 10 pizza parlors.
What happened there is our question.
I guess
we need a new.
I guess he paid the loan back. He's still here.
He's got both of it. He's got all of his extremities, from what we can tell. So,
Yeah, a couple busted kneecaps.
I definitely forgot or didn't know about the hit on Michael Irvin. That one was surprising to me. I forgot about that. The hit, the kill for hire.
You know, and I remember Dennis Padini and that whole thing. I was in the courtroom on one of those days, but I think we had left before the hit came out. But you're right. I had forgotten that the girlfriend's boyfriend, who was a police officer, had put out the hit on Michael.
Maybe don't sleep with the police officer's wife.
Well,
maybe, yeah. Just a suggestion.
You know what they didn't bring up? What Irvin didn't bring up? He said the cops knocked on my door. And I said, "We're good, guys. Open the door right now," with his gun. Irvin conveniently left out that his real response was, "Don't you know who I am?"
I also forgot that he almost killed his teammate.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Everett.
Whatever the O lineman's name
MacGyver.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're not here to talk about that. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, News 4 and Fox SA. Download, rate, review the podcast version wherever you get your podcast. We got a lot going on. I want to get Don's take on the Project Marvel stuff since he was gone last week and conveniently didn't tweet about it after like Wednesday. We'll get that. Chuck and I won't give our 2 cents again because 2 podcasts last week. You can go back and listen to them if you want to. Plus, NFL teams getting their rosters down to 53 men. The Cowboys, Mazi Smith, is he going to make it or not? Does he deserve another chance? 2 years in, the first rounder hasn't lived up to expectations. So we'll talk about that. Plus, the Micah Parsons situation from Friday night, laying down on a training table during the last preseason game, and the call me sign to Atlanta Falcons fans. Take that for what you will. Last but not least, we founded this podcast on a couple of principles: Spurs, Cowboys, and the more is the high school football aspect of this. High school football starts this week, so we will get a little bit specific on the San Antonio high school football teams as the TNL kicks off on Thursday, one of our favorite things to do all year. So first and foremost, guys, area code 220.
I got nothing.
I'm going to say North Dakota.
It's actually a really sad thing that Bob's not here today because he would get it right.
Really?
It is Newark, Lancaster, Athens, and Marion, Ohio. Central and southeastern Ohio. 220. So, just fun fact.
Athens.
Actually, fun fact, there is a city in Illinois pronounced Athens. And that's why I pronounce it that way, because I covered it in my first market.
Is it Athens, Ohio, though, where Miami of Ohio is?
It might be.
I believe so.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay. Chris Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen, filling in for Bob today. All right, Don, give me 2 minutes on Project Marvel. Just to catch everyone up, City Council voted to move forward with the term sheet. The next thing that comes out on Project Marvel in Spurs Arena is a vote in November. $311 million from the county venue tax. Do you want to give me 2 minutes real quick?
Yeah, I think this is the way it was always going to go. 7-4. I thought there was some that believed it could go 8-3. But it was, I think, the only thing that I could add was that Eric Walsh, once he completed the term sheet, was going to put it on for the discussion on the 21st and then a vote on the 27th. And the mayor surprised a lot of the council by adding her referendum on Sunday night late that she wanted to vote on a pause. And I think that got the other council members to say, okay, then just screw it. We're going to do the same thing then. We're just going to all do it on the 21st. And so I think this is what everybody expected the way it to go. And I think the voters will make the ultimate decision on one vote or two. And we'll see. But, the information needed to get out there. Props to Eric Walsh and his team for doing the heavy lifting in the negotiations. I think we were all surprised at the Spurs' amount of financial commitment to this compared to some other cities. And I do think the Spurs have an uphill climb in November because I think the messaging is muddled. I think there's a lot of confusion on who pays for what still. And it's hard to get people to turn out to the polls. I mean, Pablos ran against Gino Ortiz for the mayoral campaign and lost by 12,000 votes because only, 18,000 people voted. So it'll be hard to get out the vote, but they've done it in the past. They did it in 99. They'll hire some really good firm to lead their campaign. If they run out Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan and David Robinson and have a good campaign, they'll have a chance. If they don't, history shows that it's the naysayers that turn out and not necessarily people for it.
Let a naysayer know. Thoughts on the mayor calling you out with the SA Current last week?
I don't know that she was informed on
Don
that
Harris, done
tweet.
deal?
Yeah, but see, I mean, I think, I don't know. My tweet was self-explanatory. I wasn't saying it was a done deal. Obviously, I knew and said in the same exact tweet that it was the term sheet that had been agreed to, which was what I was reporting on for 3 days, and that it still required Eric to take it to the vote. I said in the tweet, the same tweet as done deal, I said he hopes to get in front of council for a vote by the end of the month. And then obviously I know that there's a November vote coming. So I don't know that if she interpreted it that way as I thought the whole thing was done, or if that was just said to her a certain way. What do you think about Don Harris saying it's a done deal and take it out of context? Either way, somebody took it out of context.
There was a few people on X that took it out of context, but
It just misinterpreted. But it said you read my tweet.
I
right?
read it. I also read
term sheet.
I also read the replies. Some
Whatever.
were not good. But anyway, that's all I wanted to get on in the Project Marvel part of this. I wanted you to be able to weigh in on it because you weren't able to last week.
Yeah,
so.
I had put out 5 tweets Thursday the 14th, Friday the 15th, and every step of the way I was reporting on how the negotiations of the term sheet were going, that they were close. And then Friday I reported that they had come to a verbal agreement. And then Sunday I reported that it was a done deal. The term sheet had been agreed to. Obviously the council still had to vote. Obviously people have to vote in November. So I wasn't saying the arena's like the shovels are going in the ground. I wasn't saying it's a done deal, we're building an arena. I said the term sheet had been agreed to. So that's all I said.
Let's move on to the Cowboys here. Obviously, the next thing with Project Marvel is the vote in November, and so we'll see a huge public campaign over that, I'm sure, over the next 70 days or so until Election Day. For the Cowboys, I want to talk about Micah Parsons first before we talk about Mazi Smith.
Or Michael Parson.
Yeah. If you
I
ask,
wonder if that's being done intentionally.
Jerry might not know his name.
Yeah.
You think when he saw Micah's mom the other night, he was like, "How's Michael doing?"
I don't know. Wasn't privy to the conversation. The more you find out about this situation, the more you don't know what the hell's going on.
No one actually knows what's going
Let me
on.
ask you guys
Even
this.
Adam Schefter and all that stuff. Hold on, let's pop up that photo right there, Javier. So this is the position heard round Texas and around the world, Micah was seen during a very short portion of the game laying down on a training table, obviously not entertained by what was going on. But that was, I think, taken out of context a little. He wasn't like that the entire game.
Yeah.
Like, he was only like that for a limited time, but everyone saw it. And then you couple that with him walking into the locker room with nachos in his hand, which looked very good, by the way. And Atlanta Falcons fans calling out to him, come to Atlanta, and he makes this symbol. Maybe it's a call, maybe it's a hang loose, I don't know. Maybe it's a birds up, who knows? And then the other part of that is that the Cowboys fans that sent something to him, and he made the same gesture. So you can take all of that and put it into a blender, and we get what the hell's going on with Micah Parsons.
Whatever.
Chuck?
I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of this is obviously theater. It's the last preseason game. Everybody's jockeying for position. You know, to me, on the surface, not ideal, right? Your star player, not in uniform. Even if he's not in uniform or dressed to go to the game, he could at least have his uniform on with the rest of his team, lounging on the bench, eating nachos, all the things that you just said. And then, you know, the other part of this, though, is, too, the constant needling from the Jones camp, Jerry in particular, saying Michael Parson and, you know, not getting the name right, number one. But I thought it was interesting the other day, Matt Schaub, of all people, you know, longtime NFL quarterback.
Great name.
And he might have aspirations to lead the NFL Players Association, which, by the way, needs somebody to lead them out of wherever it is that they are now.
You're not kidding.
But he said, technically, if Jerry is saying on the record that he negotiated a contract with Micah and Micah's representation wasn't there, that's against the collective bargaining agreement. So, you know, you're starting to see how some of this may work on the outside according to the rules. And so we'll see where it goes. I know Cowboy fans, I know I'm thinking the same thing. I mean, you hope that all this is settled and the guy's in uniform for opening night against Philly, because it'll be a damn travesty if he's not.
I don't think he's going to be. This has taken a turn. I think this is Jerry's dug in. And I know, I mean, I'm going to eat my words in Thursday of kickoff when he signed 2 hours before kickoff. But are you guys bothered at all? To me, it seems predatory what Jerry is doing to a 26-year-old kid in this regard. That he says they had a deal done with the agent not there, like Matt Schaub's point. Then he goes on the podcast with Michael Irvin the other day, and at the end of that, he says, Michael, why don't you get Micah and come to my office and we'll work this out? Almost like you've been through it before. You can help. Like you can help me prey on this young kid without his agent present. It's bothersome to me that Jerry would do that and that Jerry doesn't know better. Of course he knows better that it's against the collective bargaining agreement. And then he says all this stuff about, I've always negotiated with the principal and not the player and not the agent. That's not true. All of these guys have agents, and you have to negotiate through the agent. To me, it's just a travesty that Jerry is so blatantly disregarding the rules.
There's so many different situations with that, too, because, like, Todd France, Dak's agent, like, Dak was always like, just talk to my agent. I'm not talking to you. Mm-hmm. And then you hear stories like what Tony Romo said when he signed his first contract, when Bill Parcells and Jerry Jones called him in the office and they sat as close as we are right now and said, you better sign this contract. And he said no, and they gave him the deal that he wanted, but that his agent wasn't there. So you hear all these negotiating tactics and all these negotiations that Jerry Jones has done. He's done, I'm sure he's done thousands and thousands of contracts that he's negotiated and he's gotten his way. But I think Micah is kind of showing that he's met his match in a lot of these circumstances.
He's got 3 years under team
That's
control.
Right. And ultimately, it's how to play this, because he does have a contract for this year, and then he could get franchised 2 years after that. So essentially, in his formative years, before he turns 30, he essentially is under club control. That's right. So it's how far does Jerry want to really, truly push this?
I'd argue that Micah has won the court of public opinion in this one, though. Like, Jerry's very good at spinning a narrative towards himself and towards the Cowboys, but Micah has done a better job at spinning it towards him. and getting kind of the public push.
Agreed. And I think that's why Jerry has said we had a deal. And he's the one that went back on the deal. But I think there's a chance that Jerry knows they're not going to be very good. And I think Jerry is willing maybe to let this thing go a few weeks into the season and see. That defense is going to be awful without him.
I don't know about that.
And you can franchise. At what point does Micah blink? Because I think they're playing a game of chicken. Jerry's in his lane, and Jerry ain't moving. I'm guessing, and I know that goes against what Jerry's always done, but I'm guessing Micah blinks first, because once you start missing those game checks when you're making $20 million a year.
1.4 a game.
Yeah. I don't know.
Chuck, yes or no, does Micah play the season opener?
Man, this is a toughie, right? Because I think Don hit it right on the head in terms of Jerry's always blinked. He blinked last year. I was there, couldn't believe the circus. I thought, oh, got to the stadium nice and early. I have a nice pregame meal, watch a ball game. No, it was find the owner and get sound, right? I don't know. I hope at some point cooler heads prevail, because this cannot bleed into the season, right? It absolutely cannot. You're going to lose people on both sides of the argument, I think, if this starts costing games. So, I mean, let me say this. I don't know really how to side on this, because Jerry has wilted last second every single time. I didn't think he should have wilted with Zach Martin, and he did. I could go right down the list of people that I thought, you got him, don't do it. You got him, don't do it. He's turned and wilted every single time. I cannot in my heart of hearts at this point think that this is going to get to the point where it's going to cost Micah games.
What about Micah? If the problem is with Mulugeta, which is what it sounds to be, it sounds like Jerry has a problem with this guy. At Micah, what point do you maybe switch horses? Or tell your agent, just get it done.
You don't.
I know you're not supposed to.
You can't at this point.
I don't know.
I think you have to. There's going to have to be give and take. Obviously,
if he loses $40 million the first 2 weeks, don't you call your agent and
He's
say,
not going to lose $40 million in the first 2 weeks.
I mean,
He'll
$3
lose
million.
close to $3 million.
Yeah. You lose $3 million the first couple of weeks. Do you? And if you were the one if Jerry's telling the truth and you were okay with the numbers that Jerry and you agreed to at the time,
You're going to tell me the Cowboys go 0-2 without Micah and Jerry doesn't come running like he did with Emmett? I don't buy that.
I don't know, because that was a Super Bowl team that was defending Super Bowl champs that ended up winning another one. This team is a 7-8 win team.
As Emmett likes to point out, right? Emmett did not have a contract. His contract was literally up. So there was a big difference between trying to extend as opposed to
getting a new
my
deal.
Contract's up. I need a new contract.
Yeah, he couldn't play with that.
Right.
He didn't have a contract. So,
Right.
All right, quickly on Mazi Smith, since we went a little longer on Micah than I planned on. Does Mazi Smith make the roster? This will be year 3 for a first-round pick. You spent, what was it, 27th pick in the draft, 26th pick in the draft? On Mazi Smith, he is firmly on the bubble as how badly he's performed coming out of Michigan. Chuck, yes or no, is he on the roster by 2 o'clock tomorrow?
I think so, because he is a first-round pick. He's going to get every benefit of the doubt. I hope he's trending upwards in some way, shape, or form, but if not, we'll know at 2 o'clock tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I think he's on, but I don't think he should be. He's been outplayed by everybody at that position.
All right, I want to get to high school football here. So every Monday we will do high school football for the next 11 weeks because we have TNL and TNL top 10s every single week. So how we're going to do this is very similar to last year. I'm going to run through the top 10. You guys interrupt or chime in where you want to on the top 10 if you have something to say about Brennan or Steele or Smithson Valley or whoever it is. And then we'll get to the TNL matchup. So number 1 in our TNL top 10 was the Brennan Bears. The Steve Baser-led Brennan Bears. They're 23rd, if you ask Dave Campbell's, ranked the 23rd best team in 6A. Their first game is going to be against Reagan, who's our 8th ranked team. defensive-led team last year, but they do have their running back and their quarterback coming back this season, so hoping to vault into a new world offensively in the 6A region. They probably had the best defense that they've had since their state run early in the 2010s. They've probably had the best defense last year. They should have probably beat Lake Travis last year, but they didn't. Smithson Valley, head coach Larry Hill, coming off his first championship ever, is the number 2 team in our TNL top 10. They are the second-ranked team in 5A D1. I'll give you one guess as to who number 1 is. It's Aledo. Aledo is always number 1 because they deserve to always be number 1 because they win almost every year.
Yeah,
So
and how about 2 teams from that league in our top 5 as we skip ahead maybe just a little bit without giving any team
3 teams in that district in the top 10.
There you go.
3 teams in that district in the top 25 of 5A teams. So that district is going to be ridiculous. Smithson Valley has a lot of returners on the defensive side of the ball. 8 returning starters on the defensive side of the ball, including Hudson Woods and Justin Roberts and Colton Hornsby, who's picked to be really freaking good. So a lot of experience. You're going to have to kind of roll with the punches on offense for a little while, but that's like we said, that district's no joke. You got Piper and New Braunfels in that district.
And that quarterback, as good as he was last year,
Kate Spradling.
Yeah, they had the backup got a lot of mop-up time, so I think it's kind of like the Arch Manning situation. I don't think he's going to have big eyes going into this thing. He's got some experience.
Some people that do not have a lot of experience is Cibolo Steele, who in Dave Campbell's words written in their magazine, Steele doesn't really go through a rebuild very often, but they might have to this season because they lost so much offensive firepower last season with their quarterback, both the receivers, everybody on the offensive line. They only have 2 returning starters on the offensive side of the ball. David Sines is going to have a tough task this season.
Something tells me they'll be just fine as long as you got House of Hatton back there.
Yeah.
I can't believe that guy's finally a senior now.
I know.
We've been talking
like
about it for 10 years.
You're absolutely right. Jonathan Hatton, the running back, going to Texas A&M in the fall, switched over his commitment last season from Oklahoma to Texas A&M. They also have a big man named Julian Hugo on defense, who had a breakthrough season in his junior year. So they're likely to be really good. They're picked to win that district, but San Marcos is going to be really good too. And I don't know. You can't really pencil them in like they usually do. So we'll see. They're number 3 in the TNL top 10 poll. Harlan Hawks coming off their best season ever. Are number 4 in the TNL top 10 poll. Eddie Salas always has a great squad over at Harlan, and just props to Salas for coming back from cancer this season. He found out 2 weeks after their longest playoff run ever that he had cancer. He fought it, he battled, he won. Yeah. And now he's coming back. He didn't know if he was going to coach ever again. So props to Eddie Salas on that.
Amen.
They have Jivery Graham is their star on offense. He is deaf. He's a deaf running back, which is awesome. Another awesome story coming out of that school. Harlan just has all the awesome stories this year. They're also playing for, I think it's their offensive coordinator's mother who died recently in a surprise. So they lost lots of talent. Peyton Matthews going to Rice, but best season last year was kind of a surprise. Made it to the regional finals, lost in the regional finals.
Yeah, and to the eventual state champs. And, when you hear them talk, they're talking about it. Why not us?
Why not
we
them?
saw and we lined up who we played against last year. So got to get there first. But I like the fact that they're talking the talk this year about going as far as you can possibly go with this.
3 teams in that district in our TNL top 10 as well, with Sotomayor and Brennan. So number 5 is Piper Warriors, led by Nick Rogers. They are the 11th ranked team in 5A D1, part of that Smithson Valley district. They play Bernie on Friday. Got 6 returners on offense and defense. Rogers and his team took a really tough loss last season in the second round. They were undefeated. Go to Flower Bluff, comes to town and beats them in double overtime, and Nick Rogers was shocked that they went for 2 to win that game. So they've got a chip on their shoulder to come back, and they kind of remind me of UIW, offense that clicks no matter who's at quarterback. But sometimes you get the wrong quarterback in there, and maybe your offense doesn't click. And
they've been real good at getting a quarterback every year out of the portal.
They have, pretty much, honestly. So they're going to be really good. The Johnson Jaguars are 6th. Their head coach is TP Miller. We'll talk about them just here in a little bit since they're on TNL. Number 7 is New Braunfels. They're the 3rd team in that district that's going to be really good. They're the 23rd ranked team in 5A D1. Play Madison on Friday. That's a team that has a chip on their shoulder under Brad Mulder. It's going to be his 3rd year, I believe, as the head coach up there. Caden Mills is one of the best athletes in our area, so They just got a loaded district. Even if they play their best, I don't know if they can win that district. It's just so tough with Smithson Valley and Piper. Reagan Rattlers are number 8. They're going to be really interesting this year. Preston Myers takes over as head coach for Lyndon Hamilton. Don't know how much of a hiccup that'll cause because he was the DC there for 4 years. Now takes over as the head coach, kind of like in Bernie, where their DC is taking over as the head coach for Shea Hendricks. So Cole Higbee is preseason district MVP on defense. So their defense is going to be clicking. 7 returning starters, including Cole Higbee and Hunter Cacciatore. Their offense is probably going to take a little while to gel, but I wouldn't be surprised if that first game against Brennan is like 10-7. Like it really might be like 17-14, both defenses just duking it out like crazy.
Yeah, they're looking for some playmakers at Reagan, the way I understand it, right? You're right. The defense should be okay, but, it is going to be a little bit different than what we've seen from Reagan in years past. And you're right. It might take a game or two for them to get their footing.
I mean, it's hard to make up for a guy named Cole Pryor, I mean, Cole Pryor
Well
leaves.
said.
Cole Pryor leaves, and you got to find somebody to take on all those yards and plays. So, Sotomayor Wildcats with one of my favorite head coaches in the entire area, Juan Morales,
Here.
made the I just got a tweet that said no sign of Micah Parsons at the open portion of practice today. Anyway, made the playoffs for the first time in Sotomayor history last year. Coach Morales believes this team can do it again, especially with Chauncey Moon being another year older, Cameron Grady another year older. Their offense should be really good this season.
Coach Morales, guy in his mid-50s, and reminds us all that we don't spend enough time in the weight room.
Right.
Also, just reminds everyone to be just a kind. Literally, he's just one of my favorite people.
And
that I've met.
they're all grown up too, right? This is the first year that they'll have seniors be seniors, and so,
Exactly.
or
Their
seniors
first,
that went through the whole program.
yeah, their first full
4 years.
class.
Yes.
So, good point there. And then lastly, in number 10, the Brandeis Broncos, led by Keemy Lewis, his second year. They missed the playoffs for just the first time in the last 3 seasons, I believe. They got their junior quarterback, Winter Smith, coming back, 6 returners on offense. They lost a lot of production, a lot of skill guys, and a lot of offensive linemen. But, I mean, one could make the argument that you didn't make the playoffs last year with those guys. So maybe you get some new blood in there and you're able to right the ship. They're in that district with Reagan and with Johnson. So, I mean,
they got some talent. And I think, Don and I saw Winter Smith last year. Man, he looks the part. And I know sort of kind of new towards learning the position at this level, but he's adapted very quickly.
Got the tools.
So let's talk about Judson. TNL week 1 is the Johnson Jaguars versus the Judson Rockets. Is the 4th year I think they've played in the non-conference schedules. This Thursday, 7 o'clock at Rutledge Stadium on CWSA. These two will be in the booth. I'll be on the sidelines. We do have a new presenting sponsor this year. It is the Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Little Caesars Thursday Night Lights, presented by the Gomez Law Firm. So go through the Johnson Jaguars first. They have a lot of returning production. 6 offensive starters, 9 defensive starters. They're 30th in 6A. Their top returners, guys like Bryson Thomas, Mikael McCreary, Joshua McNeil. Elvis Estrada was picked to be the preseason offensive MVP per Dave Campbell in that district. They have never won back-to-back district titles in their 18-year existence because Reagan has always kind of been there. Brandeis has always kind of been there. They're picked to win again this season, and they have a lot of returning production. They did lose Bubba Johnson, who was half of their offense last year, it felt like. He was running the ball every single down. Let's hear from the Johnson Jaguars, and then we'll talk about the Judson Rockets.
Fall practices are kind of winding down now. It was just like, did you get everything that you kind of wanted to see out of your team during fall practice this year?
We did, physicality, mental mistakes, cleaning those up, and just coming together from all of our hard work that the student athletes that took place this summer. And so fall season's here. We have a week 1 next week versus a strong opponent, Judson.
Let's talk just real briefly about that, because you get to start the season on TNL. I know you guys are worried about the game, getting that victory, but what does that mean for not only you, the players, the seniors, but also the entire Jaguar community, that you guys get a chance to showcase your talents on TV?
It's always important to showcase, because this place is a special place. This community, Johnson, the support that we have from our administration, and even our athletic department with Coach Gavon coming over. It's just phenomenal. So being able to showcase that and our seniors, the first last non-district game, and we want to start the season off on a great foot. But also, all of our extracurricular band cheer, dance, being able to showcase everything that they have been working towards in the summer as well.
Do you take in a little bit more because this is your senior year? This is your last run at fall camp in high school?
Yeah, I mean, kind of do, but, you know, I've done it before, like we've done it before. So I just, like, you know, I'm just ready to play, just ready to get the W.
What do you like about this defensive unit, and what can Jag Nation expect when you guys take the field?
So I like the main thing I like is our chemistry, since we're all friends with each other. But we're just together, we're more together, we're more focused, we're more locked in for you. Like, we're trying to make it further this year. And, you know, you should expect, like, a lot of picks, a lot of fumble recoveries, all that, yeah.
What do you like about this offensive unit as you guys get ready to wind down fall practice and get ready for the season?
We all show up with effort every day, you know. We all just put our best foot forward, and, you know, regardless if we're hurt, we're tired, we still come with the end goal in mind. What we did last year doesn't matter anymore, you know what I mean? So we're just going to build, although, like, we're still building off of it, we're not going to be like, oh, we went second round last year. We're just starting 0-0.
I know you're worried about the game against Judson, but for a senior, one last chance to get to showcase your talents on television for all of San Antonio and South Texas to see. What does that mean to you?
It's cool, you know what I mean? But I'm just worried about the win. So even though we'll be on TV, we could be on national TV too, but all we got to do is go 1-0 next Thursday.
So on the other side of things, as compared to Johnson is Judson. Judson is in a much different position where a lot of people are picking them not to make the playoffs once again, which is not what they're used to. So especially under Mark Soto. Mark Soto's had I don't want to say he's had a rough go since he's been back at Judson, but they haven't been as good as I know he wants them to be since he's gotten there. They have a few returning starters. They did lose their 3-year starting quarterback, Elijah Favela. He graduated last year. But they do have Jay Storm Knight, who is one of the best prospects in our area, especially along the offensive line. He's a soft. You want go ahead.
No. Go. I was just going to say, he just like this week, he turned 15.
Yeah.
Like the kid was 14 years old and he got offers from Texas and Texas A&M.
He's 6'6".
6'7", 385.
He's going to need to drop a little bit of weight, but damn. That's
Or
all I
just
got to say.
make it muscle as you grow even bigger.
Is
Yeah,
there
he's
an
a
NFL?
sophomore.
Is there an NFL offensive lineman that's 385?
Not off the top of my head. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Usually it's about 320 is the max, right about there, 320, 330. But I mean, he's a big MFer. Like he's a big kid.
He's his own area code.
Yeah. And I mean, they have a lot of Nate Boot. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Booty is how I believe his last name is pronounced. We're going to hear from him in a second. They have a lot of veteran leadership on their offensive line that's coming back, but they do have to work out a new quarterback. They have to work out new weapons on the outside. You're going to hear from Mark Soto here in a second. He is 100% committed to getting back to the playoffs and proving everyone wrong this season. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against him either because, you know, a lot of this is he's trying to build a different culture, wants more straight and narrow, and if anybody's up for that job, it's Mark Soto. And, yeah, I would not go to sleep on a Mark Soto squad ever.
Yeah, take a listen to how intense Coach Soto is when Jack asks him these questions.
People may not think we're going to be good, but it sounds like your bunch wants to show everybody something.
I'll tell you right now, our kids are confident in what they can do, and our coaches are confident as well. So we're looking to move forward and make sure that we understand that we take off around here. We don't just stay on the landing pad. We take off.
So what kind of bounce back do you expect this year?
I expect to go to the playoffs and go several rounds. That's what I expect. And so do our kids, which is more important than what I expect.
We expect to win this season. Yes, sir. We've been grinding all season, off season, and all that.
Elijah left after being a 3-year starter. What are you looking for with these young quarterbacks?
I'm just looking for them to be leaders, and that's what they've been doing all practice. All three of the dudes we got battling right now for that starting position. They've been perfect at battling for the position and being able to lead the team. It's definitely a really cool moment because we had a game last year we got to play on TV, and we won that game, and it was a very big moment for us. And being able to start the season that way this year against a team we've been playing for 4 years straight now, it's a very special moment. We've been going back and forth for years now, so it's very exciting.
Yeah. So Mark Soto, you can feel it. You can just feel it when he talks. Like, all right, calm down, man.
I like it, man. You get juice from that, right?
Well, every time we do a Judson game on TNL, he comes over to the sideline interview, and I'm like, I better hurry. He's rearing to go here. He's really nice for he's always nice. But
Rocket Pride, man.
I mean, it's
He's
intense.
the product of Jim Rackley and D.W. Rutledge. What do you expect?
It's fair enough. Anything on TNL, guys, before we get started? I know we haven't really done a lot of our production meetings and all that stuff yet and studied up the teams per se, but anything.
I'm really looking forward to Judson versus San Marcos this year. And for those that don't know, it is a 4-year-old soap opera where
October 17th.
San Marcos went into the portal when there wasn't a legal one and loaded up, and they were put on 3 years probation, I believe. So the kids that transferred to San Marcos as freshmen have not been able to play varsity football until this year. They've dominated JV, beating people 70-0. They went 10-0 last year on the JV. The varsity went 0-10 because these kids, some of them, big-time college recruits, have been forced to play JV, and these are kids that probably should have gone to Judson and others. Mark Soto turned them in. They were found guilty by the UIL. They then pressed charges against Soto. He was found innocent in all this back and forth about eligibility. And so now the kids can play. They're going to play for San Marcos against Mark Soto. There's no love lost between him and Coach Walsh at San Marcos, and so it's just going to be I think they'll have a lot of extra security on hand that night.
Yeah, and how about week 2 of our schedule?
Oh my God.
1 versus 2 in our newly minted TNL Top 10 poll.
That's going to be a banger too. It's a little bit sad that game falls on the Cowboys opening night because it gets a little overshadowed.
Will it?
I mean, I hope not, because I'm going to be. I know what I'll be tuned into.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll be there. So we'll see.
But you know what we found is that the Cowboys brings more people to the television, and so there's a lot of this during commercial breaks, half times, and so TNL. A lot of eyes that wouldn't necessarily be on a TNL game go to TNL when they're already sitting down to watch football.
So when the Cowboys are down like 40-0 on opening night to the reigning champion Eagles.
Tune into
TNL.
Fantastic finish. The fantastic finish of TNL.
All right, that's all we got for you today on the Sneakers and Cleats podcast. Remember to download, rate, review, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, tell friends on enemy. We will be back on Thursday, the day of TNL. We will see you then.